Reflecting on Nigeria's standing at a crossroads, tested by violence, insecurity, and global scrutiny, today there was a rare moment of relief as 25 abducted schoolgirls from the Government Girls Comprehensive Senior Secondary School in Kebbi State regained their freedom a week after gunmen stormed their dormitories. Now, their release offers hope, but also underscores the scale of Nigeria's kidnapping crisis. Beyond the headlines of fresh violence in Kwara, Nigeria faces mounting insecurity on multiple fronts. In Washington, lawmakers are locked in debate over whether the scale of killings and abductions amounts to genocide. Label Abuja firmly reject, even as it pledges stronger cooperation on security. And intelligence reports now warn of imminent attacks by ISWAP cells in Ondo and Kogi States. Surveillance of soft targets have already begun in Akoko North, West, and Owo, raising fears of coordinated strikes in the days ahead. Now, so as Nigeria confronts bandit raids, mass kidnappings, looming terrorist plots, and global scrutiny, the question still remains: can the state still guarantee the safety of its citizens? Or are we watching the foundations of national security authority crumble in real time? Well, joining me to discuss this is James Ibor. He's the Secretary Administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring, also known as CMTE, Cross River. He joins virtually also from Cross River. It's great to have you. I also have Captain Luqman Gidado, retired, is a security expert. He joins from our Abuja studio live. And Femi Lawson is the Associate in Public Enlightenment to the Ondo State Governor. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Also joining the conversation is Joseph Oche-Udeh, is the CEO of Finnish Media. He joins from the US. Gentlemen, I'd like to say a big thank you for your time on the program this evening. Let me start my conversation with you, Femi Lawson. Mr. Femi, it's great to have you. This, of course, are security reports that we are getting as regards your state, Ondo State, and of course the gale of attacks or the wave of attacks and kidnappings we're seeing around the Middle Belt. I mean, Kwara, for instance, we saw what happened recently. In terms of the level of, will I call it, preparedness to repel, God forbid, an incident of such in Ondo State, what is the government putting in place? I think you are muted. We are unable to hear you. Please kindly unmute your device.
Thank you, Dako. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Yeah, for us as a people and the government in Ondo State, it is not alien that we have to embark on this kind of conversation, especially when we have to look at what we have experienced as a state and as a people. And I'm glad to say that you, Dako, and New Central Station has been part of those who have followed critically the security situation in Ondo State and, of course, perhaps the emerging security issues in Nigeria. But for us, regarding the latest incidences of insecurity in Nigeria, it's about the fact that as a nation, as a people, we have security challenges, and that what are we doing as a people to address this issue? In Ondo State, we are one of the most affected states of this federation as far as the attacks by these criminal elements, often described as bandits or militias, herdsmen, or whatever you call it, are concerned, have been affected. But for us, we have not relented as a state, and if you look at the Our Ease agenda of the current administration of Dr. Luqman Gidado, which began a new term in February 2025, you come to realize that the government has become so committed to not just security as it's used to be conventionally described in Nigeria, but the security as it should be of the citizens of Ondo State, our lives and our properties. We are very unfortunate to have been affected by one of the most, terrible incidences of terrorism. I mean, the incidents of the attack on the Catholic Church in Owo by these terrorists. Of course, most of the perpetrators have been arrested, now undergoing trial. That nonetheless, as a state, we have not relented in ensuring that not only are we able to get those behind previous incidences of attacks on our states, of all our people, but also other planned attacks and incidences of violence on our people. So for us, as a state, we are prepared, and I'm very particularly delighted that the governors of the Southwest states, are now prepared to challenge this, measures of insecurity in our region of the Southwest.
All right, now talking about the governors of the Southwest states being prepared, on this same program, we had an interview with the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba Land, Ìbà Gani Adams. That interview, of course, has gone viral because he said quite a couple of things, and it raised an alarm. I believe you've seen that interview where he said the Southwest is on a, well, I call it red alert, so to speak. He mentioned the states, Ondo being part of those states that he mentioned. We also understand that recently governors of the Southwest did hold a security meeting. Let's take a listen to some of the things they said, and then we'll return back to this conversation. Take a listen.
The very recent spate of kidnapping at the government girls' comprehensive school in Maga town, the Catholic institution of St. Mary's in Papiri, Agwara local government, Niger State, and also at the CAC Church at Eruku, Kwara State. The forum applauds the swift response of the federal government towards the rescue of the Kwara adoptees and more than 51 students of the Catholic school, Niger State. The forum thereafter reviewed the current state of security within our region and took some decisions to ensure that the security of life and property of our people. And enjoined and called on the federal government to secure the vast forest belt that have become hideouts for all sorts of criminal elements. To this end, the forum agrees that the federal government should help deploy the forest guards across the Southwest states, with each state government responsible for providing the required personnel.
Well, of course, that's the outcome of the Southwest Governor Security meeting that happened. And part of what Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu did address the press said that part of their request is that forest guards be declared across some parts or most parts of the southwestern states. I'd like to direct my question right now, of course, to you, sir. And I'm talking about Captain Luqman Gidado, retired. You're in our Abuja studio. Just recently, since the, will I call it recent gale or waves of abduction, we've seen what some Nigerians might refer to as progress being made by the government in this fight. On November, for instance, today, we saw 24 girls abducted from the government boarding school in Kebbi State being released, and also President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also confirmed the successful rescue of 38 worshippers abducted from the Christ Apostolic Church in Eruku, Kwara State. But the question on the lips of many Nigerians is, where have we been getting it wrong? And I always ask these questions. It appears we prefer to be reactive than, anticipatory in our attacks, defensive. So, I mean, you of course are a captain. Where in terms of when it comes to strategy, have we been getting this fight wrong?
Okay, thank you very much. And good evening, and thank you for having me. So, it is indeed a sad one that our country is facing plethora of security issues. And as a matter of fact, we are all aware of the fact that the nexus between security and developments cannot be overemphasized. These are two mutually reinforcing concepts that if there's no security, the government cannot embark on any developmental agenda. So in line with that, I would like to say that for us to be seen as a more serious country, desirous of making our country more safer for all and sundry, there are a lot of policy recommendations that need to be put in place. First and foremost, the primary agency, security agency that is responsible for the protection of life and properties in Nigeria is the Nigerian police, with its counterpart, which is the NSCDC. Of course, the DSS is there, the military and other security agencies. So there have been a lot of agitations for the recruitment of additional manpower into all our security agencies. That is very, very important, very, very imperative, especially at this crucial stage of our country. But there is more to that. Recruitment of additional manpower is very imperative, but the welfare of this manpower that we want to recruit into our security agencies is also very, very crucial. So the modern combat has evolved beyond the issue of only manpower alone. Of course, manpower is very, very important. We need to deploy heavily, especially in areas where we are having issues across the country. But there is more to that. These security forces, they need logistics, they need equipment, they need technology to also operate.
So basically, because we need to go on a break, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You are saying part of the shortfalls is not just recruiting people into the force. They need to be provided with the right tools of combat, which seems to be missing too. And also in terms of their welfare. Is that what you're saying?
That is very correct.
All right. We'll definitely pick up on this.
A soldier and a police officer that is...
Please land on that. Land on that point before we go. I would like you to land on that point. You said a soldier and a police officer.
So what I'm saying, I said a soldier and a police officer that is properly well taken care of. We go, we do all their best, we put in their best towards carrying out their constitutionally assigned responsibilities. So their welfare, their remuneration, equipment in terms of all combat enablers needs to be provided to them. So that is why I keep emphasizing that there is more to just recruiting them. Areas whereby they need to be accommodated, needs to be also be well taken care of. There were also issues in the news as regards the recruitment of additional 10,000 police officers. Also very excellent, a good step in the right direction. However, the current security police officers that we have on ground that are currently operating in Nigeria, the president has taken a decisive step towards ensuring that they are withdrawn from the VIPs and other celebrities they are hovering around. I think that is a good step in the right direction as well. They should be allowed to carry out the reason why they are being recruited into the Nigerian police force, which is the protection of lives and property of all Nigerians.
All right, Captain. We'll definitely come back to more of this. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, the conversation continues. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. And of course, we are looking at the insecurity situation in the country. I still have my guest with me. James Ibor is the Secretary, Administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring, CMTE, Cross River. I also have Captain Luqman Gidado, retired security expert, and Femi Lawson, the SSC on Public Enlightenment to the Ondo State Governor. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Let me come to you, Mr. James Ibor. Great to have you. Now, let's look at this process or this fight in itself against insecurity. There seems to be a lot of focus on the victims, which is great, their recovery, which is fantastic, but the bandits themselves, the Marundas, the terrorists, a lot of Nigerians are asking, it appears when it comes to dealing with them comprehensively and decisively, a lot, is still being left out. For instance, The presidential spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, revealed that security agencies, including the DSS and the military, tracked the kidnappers in real time. And I'm talking about the Kwara churchgoers that were rescued. They said they were tracked in real time and contacted them to secure their release. That's the 38 churchgoers abducted in Kwara State. The kidnappers complied, aware of the consequences of defying government directive. Now, the question is this. If you look at the bulk of that statement, they were tracked, they were contacted, the kidnappers complied, and they released these people, right? Fast forward, a few hours later, we are hearing of another kidnapping in the same Kwara State, Ekiti local government. So the question is, you are going after these people, nobody's talking about what happened. How were these people released? Was there, some sort of engagement? Was ransom paid? It just looks like once a release is done, there's no follow-up to it. So I would like you to talk comprehensively on Nigeria's strategy in handling this process. You understand? Particularly when it comes to justice in itself for those kidnapped and ensuring that the kidnappers or the terrorists, what have you, really face the full lot of the law. It's like they're given a slap on the wrist.
Just to say that it is clear that Nigeria we do not have a policy to tackling insecurity in Nigeria. The reason why you see the back and forth with government saying one thing and we are seeing another thing. It is clear that there is no transparency in the kind of information that is made to the public. It is clear that the security agencies are lying to us. It is clear that the presidency is lying to us. You cannot be negotiating with terrorists. And obviously they were paid. The reason why they had the resources to carry out another kidnap, shortly after government claimed they tracked them. How would you say you rescued? You paid ransom. That is the truth. Government have been funding terrorism by paying ransom to terrorists. Everybody knows that when you kidnap an American, every terrorist the whole world knows, if you kidnap an American, nobody pays ransom, America will come for you. We don't have those policies. And until we have a functional policy, we have a system that works, we will not be able to tackle insecurity. What about the system where we are about to recruit 10,000 police officers again? To do what? What is the nature of the training we give to our police officers? How are we deploying technology? Common CCTV cameras, even in Abuja, we don't have. Majority of the places, the spaces in Abuja, have no CCTV cameras. We do not have data of Nigerians. We do not. We still register bets manually. We cannot track even Nigerians generally, even when we have BVN. So a lot has to do with technology. A lot has to do with intelligent gathering. Policing is not just carrying guns about. So we need to rejig the system. We need to sit down and plan. How do we register bets and deaths? How do we monitor those who come into our communities and those who go out? We have to invest in a drone technology. You see, and government will have to be transparent. The corruption among the security agencies is also huge. How are security agencies also sharing intelligence among themselves, avoiding the rivalry that often characterize our security agencies? So, first, the decision of by the Mr. President to, ask the IGP to withdraw all police officers guarding VIPs is welcomed. And so what? Yes, we welcome the idea. How are you deploying them into policing the unpoliced spaces in Nigeria? What technology are you deploying? What kind of training are you giving our police officers? We still see, as I was coming home this evening, police officers were concentrating, collecting money than searching the booths or verifying the identities of those moving around. So I can have somebody I've kidnapped inside my boots, and I'll just give the police 100 naira, and I'm asked to go. So the strategy of policing is poor, and the fact that government must stop funding terrorists, we have to stop paying ransom. We have to do that provided any citizen, any Nigerian, any person kidnapped, we deploy both technology and ground forces to ensure that that person is rescued.
I know that, of course, on this issue of ransom, I know that there was some point, I think during the Buhari administration, they outlawed the payment of ransom, right? Saying that, look, I mean, it just shouldn't be the way to go. But then...
but that policy failed because, that policy failed because when your relative is kidnapped, they ask you not to pay ransom. So what I would do if I'm contacted by the kidnappers is not to disclose to security agencies. I look for money and pay the ransom myself, you know, because we do not have faith in our security agencies, you know, securing our release. So there must be a system where citizens are convinced that if you're kidnapped, the Nigerian armed forces or the Nigerian authorities will come for you.
All right.
That is what happens in America. So if we can adopt a policy where we go after our citizens that are in crisis, we go after terrorists, not repelling them. What do you mean by repelling? You repel terrorists from entering Ondo State. What do you mean by repelling? Where are you repelling them to? Go after them. In fact, if they should get into Cameroon, go after them. Because dealing with terrorism, all you need to do is to cooperate with the forces of Cameroon and go after terrorists, not repelling them.
All right, Mr. Ibor, thank you so much. Let me come back to you, Femi Lawson. I mean, you are the SSA on public enlightenment to the Ondo State governor, and I'm going to, of course, really take on you as a representative of the government in this conversation. For many Nigerians, there seems to be no trust in the government in this fight. Nigerians feel that this war against the so-called bandits, terrorists, whatever names we've given them, is not sincere. Some even feel that the government is complicit in a way. How do you react as a government official in Ondo State, for instance, which of course is one of the states that has been told to be on watch, on red alert, on watch guard?
Are you with me?
Yes.
You see, the business of security is not one man's business. It is not a government business. It's not even a group business. It's an all-encompassing business. Over the time, we have left, as a people, the faith of our security in the hand of either the security agencies, the state, or other institutions within our society. But a genuinely secure society, including those we have often referred to in our conversations as developed, Western, and the likes, are societies where citizens, government, security agencies, and stakeholders are in charge of their security. Good. Nigerians are expectant of a society that guarantees their security and welfare, because the primary responsibility of government, according to our constitution, is in welfare and security of citizens. But as we speak, we have a duty as citizens to also complement government efforts as securing our society. But unfortunately, like I said, we have a society where we think we can sit in the comfort of our rooms and one governor or one minister, commissioner of police, brigade commander, so it's coming to secure us. It will never work. What we have on our hands is a situation where practically all the institutions have to come and be involved in the process of securing our society, because we are dealing with a situation that is as cancerous as such that it is not even about, our ability as a community to protect ourselves, our ability as local government and state to protect ourselves, but our ability to collectively protect
so are you saying, because we need to go on a break, are you saying that the Ondo State government, even though there was a Southwest security meeting and all, are you saying it doesn't have the capacity to protect its residents?
Well, before the Southwest governors met and took this very important decision, Ondo State have spearheaded, it is on record, the Southwest Security Network we gave back to Amotekun in the days of our former government.
But some will say that the Amotekun Corps is more or less moribund.
It's not moribund in Ondo State. I'm not sure if you are conversant when we're doing it. Beyond Ondo State and Oyo, there is no state in the entire southwest region where the Amotekun Corps has been more effective. Not only has the Amotekun Corps been effective, we have a network of community citizens, conscious security arrangement that has made our state. We've suffered very serious, security challenges, particularly being one of the states attacked by terrorists, being the unfortunate Catholic Church massacre. As I speak to you, our state is one of the states where security consciousness is at its peak. Not just Amotekun, the Nigerian police force, under the current leadership of IGP Gidado and the Commissioner of Police in Ondo State, NSCDC, and all that, have been having a very strategic synergy.
All right.
That has ensured that we do not have a repeat of the ugly occurrence of the past that exposed our people not just on the basis of their religious orientation and the unfortunate incident that we witnessed in the war, but even across the state. Today, Ondo is one of the most secure states on the basis of the commitment of the government and the various security agencies to the security of our people across every corner of our states.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Femi Lawson. At this point, we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll talk about these bandits or terrorists or whatever names they've been called on social media, particularly a platform called TikTok. What does this reflect? Does this reflect a situation of a government that is incapacitated to track these guys? Or are these guys just hiding in plain sight? Stay with us, we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and we're looking at the state of insecurity in the country. I still have my guest with me. Let me come to, of course, our guest at our Abuja studio, Captain Luqman Gidado, retired. Thank you once again for your time. Let's talk about some of this, what I call it, terrorist bandits, maroonders, and people, of course, that are responsible for all of this chaos that we are seeing. Some of them on social media. There was even a viral video of one of them actually going live and interacting with people, right? And then the question as to how this reflects on our fight against insecurity as a nation. Because some people would say that if I tweet anything against a government official in less than 24 hours, I will be picked up. But this is a bandit who comes live on social media, brandishing his wings, and nothing is happening. What does this reflect of us as a nation?
Thank you very much. If at this stage, at this era, and we are witnessing something of this nature within the social media space, and Nigeria as a country has not grown in terms of technology to be able to track the whereabouts of these so-called terrorists, we have a long way to go, indeed. One thing I feel that has really emboldened these insurgents, I think, is the weakness on the part of our laws. Our laws are so weak and romancing criminals. Why am I saying this? I read on news a week or 2 weeks ago that some ISWAP terrorists were jailed for 20 years, in prison for 20 years. That is an eyesore. These are people that have killed our police officers, they've killed our soldiers, they've killed innocent civilians and other security agencies. And the only thing our law can do is to jail them for 20 years. It's emboldening them. So I am not a protagonist of imprisoning these people for 20 years. As a matter of fact, a hardened criminal will not mind going to prison for 20 years and come back and still continue carrying out their heinous crime. What I would recommend is that our laws needs to be strengthened most of these people cannot actually be rehabilitated as the government think they can. The only person that can rehabilitate them is God Almighty.
So, what would you suggest as an ideal punishment for them?
Well, that is why I'm emphasizing that our laws are too weak, and as a matter of fact, they are romancing our criminals. And the laws needs to be galvanized to serve as deterrence to other insurgent and other terrorist groups. Because in a situation whereby you keep sentencing them to prison, you are not helping matters. If the needful is done by neutralizing them, because these are people that have also put families into perpetual sorrow, and I feel it's a slap on the faces of families that if they have killed their innocent people, they've killed our security personnel. I think the needful should be done, not to sentence them to either 20 or 30 years in prison. It's an eyesore. It is really uncalled for. I think that weakness part of our law needs to be checked and maybe to be curtailed. If the needful is done, it will go a long way towards serving as deterrence for other people that will think, okay, I can get my way. When I do whatever I want to do, I'll be sentenced to some years in prison.
All right, thank you very much. Let me come to you, James. James, do you also feel that our laws are weak when it comes to handling cases of this terrorist activities? Just like what, of course, the captain said, he said that it's better that these individuals are neutralized and spend extended time in jail. And what do you also make of the idea of rehabilitation for so-called repentant bandits or terrorists?
I agree with Captain. We have one of the most beautiful laws in Nigeria. The problem is the application of these laws. In terms of in Nigeria, we have what we call sentencing guidelines. Sentencing guidelines is the documents that guide judges on how to apply sentences. And what determines the sentence a criminal or a convict gets is the nature of the offense, the circumstances of the offense. For instance, if a terrorist who is arrested and cooperated with security agencies all through investigation to even prosecution, the law also requires that there should be a mitigating circumstance where the person gets the minimum punishment. It's not every felony that you get the maximum sentence, because people should be rewarded for turning in more terrorists, for giving information that has helped the system to keep society safe. So our laws are beautiful. The problem is application of these laws and also the politics around the application of our laws. We have terrorist sympathizers among judges, we have terrorist sympathizers among security agencies and all that. And sometimes, how protected are our judges? You know, we have a situation where security agents are guarding, soldiers are guarding Chinese, police officers are guarding VIPs, but judges are not guarded. In Cross River, for instance, and in many other states, judges beg to have security officers in their home or that follow them around to court or out of court. So these are the challenges. A judge should be confident that after sentencing a terrorist to death or to life imprisonment, he or she can go home safely and not molested. So these are the issues. There is nothing wrong with our laws, but there is a serious problem with our policing system and application of this law.
James Ibor, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but some will say, given the current scenario, circumstances right now, that once an individual is, caught, whether as a bandit or what have you, he should face the maximum sentence. This, of course, serving as deterrent. Some have even said maybe they bring back the era of open firing squad, where everybody watches when such an individual is being taken out, so as to serve as deterrents, given the scale of the activities right now. I mean, these are just suggestions by individuals here. And you talk about the part of the law here. I would like you to create a balance in all of these arguments and narratives.
Okay, I cited a document, we call it the sentencing guidelines. The sentencing guideline is what determines whether a convict gets the maximum sentence or the minimum sentence for that particular offense. There is what we call aggravating circumstance that determines whether you get the maximum sentence, or a mitigating circumstance that determines whether you get the minimum sentence. So everybody cannot get the same sentence for committing the same offense. But the circumstances, your attitude during the crime itself, and after, during investigation or after you've been arrested, will count during conviction. So this is put in place because there's a range. This is put in place to encourage convicts or criminals to cooperate with security agencies. For instance, a terrorist who kills soldiers consistently and did not surrender until he or she was arrested, that is an aggravating circumstance. But a terrorist who had soldiers coming and surrendered, and even cooperated with soldiers to ensure the arrest of other bandits, will not get the same sentence with the other bandit who fought until he was arrested. So
if I'm to follow your logic, so the idea of reintegration and forgiving repentant bandits is okay?
I disagree with that totally. There is no basis. There's no basis in our law to begin to accept total pardon. And because insecurity, kidnapping is a social concern, it's against policy for you to reintegrate bandits in that manner, because it has become a social problem. People are dying. So the policy should not be reintegrating them back to society.
So because we need to go.
The policy should not be. Because the policy should not even be giving pardon to any of them.
Okay, because we need to go on a quick break.
I'm talking about sentencing. If a terrorist is sentenced for 40 years and he has served the sentence, yes, he should be reintegrated into society. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying a situation where the person has not served or has just served 5 years. It will be against policy, good conscience to release the person for whatever reason, except under circumstances that will secure the lives of many other persons. And such a person should be watched, not just released to go back to join the terrorists.
All right, thank you very much. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll be taking our final thoughts on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guests with me, and we are discussing the state of insecurity in the country. Well, of course, we are winding down gradually. But before we go, Mr. Femi Lawson, I'd like your final thoughts on this issue of insecurity. And for residents of Ondo State particularly, are there channels of communication that the residents in the state can reach out to should there be incidences of kidnappings or attacks, or even intel?
Experience as far as this situation is concerned. You remember the massacre that I often refer to, but for me, this is no longer an Ondo State issue. It's not even an Oyo State or Lagos. This is a national crisis, and it is pleasing to tell you that the governor of Ondo State, Dr. Luqman, just about 24 hours ago, has been working with other governors of the Southwest, and other governors across the country are also going to be working together to ensure that we address this as a national issue. It's a major crisis for us as citizens, as a nation, and of course as a state. We are employing the instrumentality of our state security network, Amotekun, the police, Nigeria Police in Ondo State Command have been working and very fantastic. Of course, other security agencies, the DSS, the NSCDC, and of course, other institutions of states are working. But for us, we believe the business of security is all-encompassing. That must involve not just the police, our Amotekun, but every citizens, stakeholders, and security agencies. And that's what we are doing. And as I speak with you, Ondo State is well prepared. Our security agencies are well prepared.
All right.
Our citizens are well prepared, not only to resist possible attacks on our state, but also sensitize our people and also work with other people, particularly states that are neighboring on the state, to ensuring that our society is secured, and of course our states are secured, and of course we should be able to, as a people, say enough is enough for this menace of terrorism plaguing our society.
All right, thank you very much for your, of course, for that. Let me come to you, Captain Luqman Gidado. Captain, there have been these talks that maybe, just maybe, the government, the people, the residents, citizens being the front line of many of these attacks, should be given the liberty to arm themselves. In 30 seconds, do you think this should be the case?
But a situation whereby every Tom, Dick and Harry will be carrying weapons. If you want to carry weapons, go and join any of the security agency. So what I will say is to call on the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that it is indeed very, very important that all our security personnel needs to be strengthened. Areas whereby the country needs help, especially in terms of technology. At this 21st century, technology can enhance the qualitativeness of any combat operation. If by now our security agents don't have drones to carry out drone attacks, precision guided equipments, whereby from their defensive location they can strike at the adversary, I think we need to look into that direction. The welfare of the security agent is also very, very paramount. Additionally, we need to foster synergy amongst all the security agencies. Also, the root causes of all this insecurity needs to be looked into, because security issues can be approached from both the kinetic and non-kinetic approach. The non-kinetic approach will enhance a lasting solution, bring about a lasting solution to the plethora of security issues that we have in Nigeria. What are they? Unemployment, poverty, and these are issues that governance can actually address. The government can toe the line of the Nigerian army, in which you will see anywhere you see the Nigerian army operating, they try to enhance civil-military coordination in terms of winning the answer mind of the locals, because if this is done, it will go a long way towards fostering local intelligence. And the people residing within the general area where our security agencies are operating, you know, they can have the trust and provide our security agencies with timely and accurate information. And on a final note, we don't have another country other than Nigeria. I don't support recommending policy issues that will eat up the polity. So we should know that Nigeria is the only country we have. All hands must be on deck. The government should make sure that it's not all about recruiting this additional manpower. They need to be sufficiently strengthened and equipped to carry out their constitutionally assigned responsibilities, which is to protect lives and property in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. I mean, James and Ibor, in one breath, because we're really pressed for time, what would you recommend as a way forward, or what do you think the government has been missing and they should address?
We have to localize policing from our ward, community to local government. We have to employ community members, arm them to secure their own spaces. Community policing is the way to go. And it has to be coordinated by the local government and monitored by the state and the federal government. So we have to evolve policing from our immediate wards, communities.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been, of course, it's been nice having you on the program this evening. James Ibor is the Secretary Administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring, CMTE, across River. Also, Captain Luqman Gidado, retired security expert, and Femi Lawson, SSA on public enlightenment to the Ondo State Governor. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.